That's great. Thank you.
Veterans Day is a national.
I'm inspired by the sustainability
At this time, if there are students that have a relative here for the Veterans Day Assembly, if you could come down to the auditorium at this time.
Let him
Good morning. Welcome to Amherst Middle School. My name is Matt Giles and I'm the assistant principal here at AMS. We are so honored to host this Veterans Day assembly to honor and thank all the men and women who have served in the United States military. As I reflect on what Veterans Day means to me, all of my family members and friends that have served come to mind. The past two Veterans Days, instead of calling my grandfather and thanking him for his service, I will honor his memory and reflect on his life. He was a devoted World War II veteran who passed away 2 summers ago at the age of 97. It would make him proud to see this gathering of veterans today. I also think about the many freedoms that we have as Americans because of the sacrifice and service of our veterans and their families. To that, I want to say thank you to all the veterans in the audience today. Moreover, I reflect on how our students need to know the importance of our military men and women and the impact that they have on our country. We hope that on this day, you know that you are greatly appreciated by so many. My grandfather liked to say, "It is what it is, but it can become what you make of it." I am so proud that our veterans chose to have this mindset in the situations and conflicts that they were a part of. My hope is that we can all have this mindset in the situations that we face. Thank you so much for being here today. And now we'll turn it over to our student MCs, Adam, Chelsea, Lex, and Luke.
To lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Senior Airman Helen Floyd, all stand for the pledge.
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing as our AMS chorus and national anthem.
First row to the front. First row to the right.
Veterans Day is a national public holiday set aside to honor those who have served in the armed forces.
The holiday falls on the anniversary of the end of the World War I. It originally commemorated the armistice or peace agreement signed on November 1st, 1918 at 11 a.m.
In the United States, Armistice Day was renamed Veterans Day in 1954. Since 2001, the Congress and the President have also designated the week in which Veterans Day falls as National Veterans Awareness Week.
On November 11, 1953, the city of Emporia, Kansas, held what is believed to be the first all Veterans Day observance in the United States.
Veterans Day is one of the two patriotic holidays observed on the same date each year. The other one, Independence Day, July 4th.
All students at Amherst Middle School were given a writing assignment. How does America inspire you?
The following students were selected from their grade to present their essays today. Please welcome 6th grade student Maggie Jo Campbell.
May we think of freedom not as the right to do as we please, but as the opportunity to do what is right. Peter Marshall. The one thing that inspires me about America is our freedom. We have this freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, and the freedom of the press. Together, these rights make up the freedom we have here in America. Freedom of speech. The freedom of speech means that we as Americans can express our thoughts and opinions freely. In other countries, citizens can express their thoughts freely without facing severe consequences. We are blessed that we can talk about political and social issues openly without the fear of an oppressive government or country. Freedom of religion. Freedom of religion means that you and I can practice our own religion as we please. Nobody is telling us how we should pray or when we should pray. So many other countries tell their citizens how to and who to worship. Here in America, we can use our religion freely. Freedom of the press. Freedom of the press means that we can express our opinions about political and social issues freely. We can vote for who we think is the best candidate. This is important because we can experience the diversity of other people's opinions. America is so different from other countries because we have a say in the rights that allow us to make decisions in our country. I think this country inspires me so much because we as a country have the right to change things that are wrong, to change the way something is being done, and to make something good out of something that is bad. The people who have fought for their lives and freedoms have laid down their life to make our country a better place. Those people are why we celebrate Veterans Day. I'm so thankful and blessed for the people who have risked their lives to make my country. We are the home of the free because of the brave. Welcome 7th grader Mackenzie Campbell as she reads her essay.
I am inspired by the selflessness, bravery, hard work, and commitment from our veterans of America. Seeing how much of a change the veterans can make for America inspires me to also do my best to make the country a better place. Veterans are selfless and miraculously brave. The veterans want to fight, they also took care of each other while willing to lay down their own lives for one another at any given circumstance or moment. These people leave their families, friends, loved ones, and so much more behind to come fight for us and give us the freedom we want for our country. Veterans are also very hardworking and committed. They have to go through many different training sessions and hard weeks and days to be able to fight for our country. A veteran's commitment doesn't end when they leave their veteran status or work. Veterans stay passionate about serving and are willing to do whatever it takes, even though it may mean risking their lives or others' lives in the process. America is such an inspiring place to live in for many reasons. Something that really inspires me is that everyone in America has freedom of speech, where we can openly express what we are feeling without the fear of being judged or facing consequences from what we say. America isn't perfect, no country is, no person is. But another thing that inspires me is that we all come together to help each other out whenever we need it. Like in World War II, the whole country came together to help us win the war and defend our freedom. One of the biggest things that inspires me is the freedom of choice in our country. Here in America, we have the freedom to choose who we want to be without facing problems or consequences. And that is all due to the sacrifices of our veterans. grade and welcome Peyton Cole. Valor is stability, not the legs and arms, but the courage and the soul, said Michelle de Montaigne. This quote can mean many things, but I think of it as a quote for America and our veterans. I'm inspired by America because of the sacrifices people have had to make for this country, our beautiful land, and the amazing opportunities we have. When you think of America, you probably think of a free country, and that is true, but how have we gotten this freedom? We've gotten this wonderful privilege by our military veterans who worked so hard and diligently to get this life that we deserve. In America, we are so blessed to have our veterans because without them, there's no telling where we would be. They leave their whole lives behind just to make sure we can sleep in a nice warm bed at night without the fear of something happening to us. There's a lot more our veterans do for us. Something else that makes America so great is our beautiful country. The land is beautiful, and not only that, so are the people around us every day. When you look outside, you don't see a bunch of dirt and dead trees. In America, we look outside and see green grass, flowers, and big, beautiful green leaves. Of course, this makes the United States beautiful, but so do the people. We are surrounded by such creative and hardworking people. The United States is not only known for its beauty, but its great opportunities. Here, you don't have to worry about someone planning a life out for you. You can make it on your own. Some kids want to be doctors, teachers, or maybe a veteran themselves someday. In America, it's possible. You can go to school and make friends. Other countries can't provide those opportunities. I'm inspired by America because of the sacrifices people have had to make for this country, our beautiful land, and the opportunities we have been given. We have a place to call home, a chance to do whatever our heart desires, and I think that is so important. All this would never be possible if it wasn't for our veterans who fight for us every single day.
Veterans, the AMS band will now present the United States Armed Forces Medley. When the song is played for your branch of military service, we invite you to stand as we honor you for your service.
This year saw the passing of a distinguished veteran in our community, Major Sergeant Raymond Johnson. Master Sergeant Johnson served in our country during World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. He received several awards for his bravery and service, including the Presidential Unit Citation for extraordinary heroism in action at Iwo Jima and the Volcano Islands, a Meritorious Unit Commendation Citation, a Navy Achievement Medal, and the Vietnam Cross of Gallantry with Bronze Stars. He also received various other service recognition during his 27 years of military service. Sadly, Master Sergeant Johnson passed away last year, but he will always be remembered and honored for his service to our country, state, and community.
Master Sergeant Johnson was a proud resident of Amherst County and was recognized for his service to the community as a member of the Rotary Club of Amherst. He was awarded the Paul Harris Award for his contributions to the club.
Today we have the honor of welcoming Master Sergeant Johnson's daughter, Miss Nancy Johnson, who is present in the audience on his behalf. Let us all take a moment to pay our respects and express gratitude for Master Sergeant Johnson's service to our country.
Taps will be played by Jackson Longhorn. This is the famous standard bugle call played at a soldier's funeral and special military occasions. The words that go with the 24 musical notes are:
Day is done, gone the sun, from the hills, from the lake, and from the sky. All the stars set to rest, God is God. Thanks and praise for our days, neath the sun, neath the stars, neath the sun.
As we work, this we know that God is nigh. Please stand.
Two years ago, Amherst Middle School, along with the Amherst community, had the honor of recognizing Mr. Johnson, and we put a garden stake in our garden in his honor. Unfortunately, since his passing, we have changed that stake to in his memory. Today, that will be revealed at the end of the ceremony, and I'll give you more information about that. But at this time, if Ms. Johnson would come forward, we'd like to present her with the stake that we replaced. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a nice round of applause.
I know if my dad was here, he would be so proud. He loved coming the first year, 2 years ago, to this, and he did die this year in March at 97, and he
the 27 years that he served in the Marine Corps were his proudest moments. And he would be so touched, I know, to be honored like this. And our family appreciates everything. Thank you.
You may be seated. It is my privilege to introduce today our speaker. And he's a friend of mine as well as one of my neighbors. But more importantly, Lieutenant Colonel Kerry Scott has served his country. He was born in Arizona and has lived in Lynchburg now since 1963. His education included Hargrave Military Academy, Washington Lee University, and Troy State University. Of course, he has experience, which I'm going to let him tell you about, but I'll give you a heads up. He had assignments in Texas, Germany, Austria, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Liberia, and Washington, D.C. He also continues to support his community by being, he was a campus safety officer at Sweetbriar. He's a licensed pilot. He is a training officer. He led a search and rescue team. He is a firearms instructor, a past president of the Rotary Club. When he has time, after all that, he is a Lippenzan horse owner and breeder. He loves to travel. As a matter of fact, he led and planned a trip to Africa that my family got to go on. Not me, I'm not doing that random Land Rover thing. He took my son and husband on a wonderful trip to Africa. So it is my pleasure to introduce you to Lieutenant Colonel Kerry Scott.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My presentation is really aimed towards the students, and I understand that even if they're not sitting in this room, they're hearing me in the classrooms. I hope that's the case. Veterans Day 1968, I was a 9th grader at Lincoln Junior High School and not doing very well. I was making bad decisions, leaving my mom with some decisions to make. Her decision took me to Hargrave Military Academy. From then on, encouraged by Hargrave, the decisions were mine to make. I decided to succeed and, if possible, excel at Hargrave. The military and academic structure made that an easy decision to make. Subject by subject, they tested and placed me where I was supposed to be. That meant a half year backwards in mathematics and a bit ahead in everything else. By the time I graduated in 1972, I had gone from a C- D+ student in the public schools to 17th in the class of 123 at Hargrave. I've accepted at all 3 colleges I applied to, and another, VMI, where I hadn't even applied. That was always a mystery. And I had a 4-year ROTC scholarship in whichever college I chose. I was a voracious reader. When I graduated from Hargrave, the librarian told me she was pretty sure that I had checked out every book in the school library. Y'all remember the books, don't you? I decided to attend Washington and Lee University in Lexington. I majored in political science, but took an eclectic mix of courses. I met my military department obligations and ended up co-commander of my ROTC unit. I decided to join the Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity, with which I still serve as the House Corporation President. I learned Taekwondo, which led me to learn Bushido, the code of the warrior, which led me to study Eastern religions, which led me to be an exchange student in Japan at the end of my sophomore year, which led me to spend the next 2 years learning the Japanese language. In the spring of 1976, I managed to graduate from Washington and Lee, don the gold bars of a 2nd lieutenant in the Air Defense Artillery Branch, and head to Fort Bliss, Texas to train and eventually West Germany to serve the rest of the 4 years I lived there. Though an Army officer, all of my active duty time after training was actually my Air Force installations. We had small air defense units on bases all over what was then West Germany. I served 3 years at Hahn Air Base and 1 at Spangdahlem. When I started ROTC in the fall of 1972, the Vietnam War was going strong, so I assumed I'd eventually be headed that way. In actuality, the war ended in 1975, so I was instead headed to Germany. Of course, I decided to learn German and forgot most of the Japanese I had learned. Germany made me a leader of men. Becoming a leader of women would come later. I decided to take advantage of the GI Bill and let the Army pay for my master's degree in international relations from Troy University. I met a very nice young woman who I wanted to get to know. I spoke next to no German, and she spoke no English. Somehow we stumbled through and mastered each other's language, married in March 1980, left active duty, and moved back to my grandparents' farm in Amherst County. So Marlise and I have been together almost 44 years. Who knows where the early farm road is here in Amherst County? Everybody? Well, the Earlys were my grandparents, and that's the family farm. I thought I was headed to the State Department and the Foreign Service. I took and passed all the exams, but could not wait for them to find me a job. So I decided to stay in Amherst to help my grandparents with the farm and work for the Old Dominion Box Company based on Elon Road in Madison Heights. I worked for them for 20 years, almost to the day, half in manufacturing and half in finance. They cut me loose in 2000 and were out of business completely not long after. Since this is a Veterans Day event, we'll focus on the military part of the rest of my life. I looked around Central Virginia for a reserve or guard position without success. My branch had nothing to offer me, so I decided to reach out to the military intelligence branch. I was already qualified, and I stumbled into things called the Reserve Attaché program. I met 2 of the 3 requirements already. I spoke German fluently and had a master's degree in international relations. The 3rd requirement, that I be at least a major, would be met by the time I finished my training, so they admitted me to the program. I did 2 training tours of the analysis side and 2 training tours of the operations side of the Defense Intelligence Agency. They managed the Reserve Attaché program. This badge that I wear reflects that I was serving with the Defense Intelligence Agency. Because I was considered a German linguist, I had to do my one on-station tour, familiarization tour at the embassy in a German-speaking country. I was assigned to the American Embassy in Vienna, Austria. I should have only done 1 tour in Vienna, but the world was changing. The Iron Curtain was coming down, new countries were being created in Eastern Europe, and the defense attaché in Vienna, the colonel I reported to, needed my help and kept requesting my service. By the time my Vienna assignment faded away, I had served 14 reserve tours over 12 years at the American Embassy in Vienna. I decided I wasn't ready to quit the Army or attaché duty, so I arranged to be assigned to Sub-Saharan Africa. My real love. I've been out 16 times and expect to go back next June when I lead a group of Washington and Lee outing club people up Mount Kilimanjaro and into the Serengeti for the 3rd time. I did 2 tours of duty in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. My 2nd tour began on the 10th of September, 2001. 9/11 was the next day. Ethiopia is half Islamic. As you might imagine, my days there were pretty busy, but ultimately peaceful. Ethiopians, whether Christian or Islamic, love the United States and never left our side. I just thought I still wasn't done, so I went on to serve a tour of duty in Kigali, Rwanda, and finally Monrovia, Liberia, also in Sub-Saharan Africa. For my last 2 tours of duty, I was asked to help run the Department of Defense School, which trained new reserve attachés. Finally, in 2004, I received a yellow postcard from the Army telling me that I had reached 28 years of service, achieved the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, but nonetheless, I was old and I had to go. In 2008, I went to work for a company based in Lovington, which largely with my help became the nation's largest agent for a program which allowed agriculture employers to grant legal guest workers who came in, worked for the season, and went back home again. I saw the country while doing business development for this country. The new owners cut me loose in 2021. Not quite ready to retire altogether, I worked for a while for Hershey over in Stewart's Draft, where I helped run a machine that made 7,600 Reese's cups a minute. I worked for a few months on a horse farm outside Charlottesville, and finally, a few months substitute teaching biology and human anatomy in Amherst County High School until they were able to find a real teacher. So what is the moral of this story? My mama made the first decision to put me in the uniform of a Hargrave cadet. I decided to be the best Hargrave cadet and student that I could. I decided to convince the Army to send me to Washington and Lee. I could about as many different things as I possibly could. I decided to behave in a way that allowed me to survive and thrive in that environment. Much of my time at W&L, I served as designated driver for my French fraternity brothers who weren't quite as well behaved. I decided to give up the dream of a foreign service officer, instead stay with and help my grandparents on the farm here in Amherst. I was obligated to serve my first 4 years in the Army because of the scholarship. It was on me to decide to stay and eventually give them 28 years of service. It was on me to decide with whom I would spend the rest of my life. Marlise and I have been married now almost 44 years. It has always been on me to see opportunities and take them. Hargrave made me pledge a Hargrave cadet will not lie, cheat, or steal. Washington and Lee took that a step further by adding, nor tolerate those who do. The Army reminded me that an officer's word is his bond. This means that all those decisions I had to make had to include choosing the honorable route and keeping only the company of honorable people I knew I could trust, like the Zablosky's. You have decisions to make. Making good decisions is hard work. It'll be even harder when you head to high school. A lot of your fellow students will make it easy for you to make bad decisions. As an aside, I have a question for you. How many of you were second graders here in Amherst County? Okay. Of you who were second graders in Amherst County, do you remember receiving from the Amherst Rotary Club the desktop globe? You do, okay? And I'm sure there are others as well, somewhere in those classrooms, because since 2001, the Rotary Club of Amherst has given to every second grade student in Amherst County a desktop globe. We've reached the point now where one of the ladies that I met in the Human Resources Office for the school system received a globe in 2003, and now one of her kids has just received one. So it's now the second generation of people who are giving globes to. If you received a desktop globe from the Rotary Club. When you go home this afternoon, blow the dust off that globe and see if you can find the places I just told you I served at. Then pull out your Chromebook, look up those countries and see if you can't remember them. That is my challenge for you here today. Make good decisions, and I look forward to being proud of you. Thank you for your attendance and attention today. Thank you.
Around the country, Veterans Gardens helps to remind us of the sacrifice many have made for our country. 3 years ago, students and teachers at Amherst Middle School began a garden project to honor veterans that were a part of our history.
The process began with dreaming, planning, and then hard work. With the support of local administrators, funds were made available to start the memorial. Anonymous donors also contributed as the word spread about what students were doing at AMS. During summer school 2019, afternoons were spent in project-based learning activities. One of the weeks was dedicated to the Veterans Garden project. Activities included designing water features, hardscapes, benches, and other decorations, organizing celebration, and the hands-on task of creating the garden.
Each year, we will be adding to the garden, honoring others who have served. Students will continue to maintain the garden and look forward to seeing their dreams a reality as the garden winds its way to honor all those who have served.
Today, the faculty, staff, and students at Amherst Middle School are very honored to recognize 3 individuals who were selected as inductees to this year's Veterans Garden. If you don't mind, when I call your name, if you come forward, Ms. Zablosky will greet you, and then we have a little token of appreciation for you. Also, next year, at our ceremony next year, we will unveil your marker, your garden marker, for everyone to see. So again, this is something that we want to continue doing year after year. I do want to say before I recognize these individuals that if you notice, each year this has grown a little more and more. VFW donated a very nice bench for our Veterans Garden. So if you, after today's ceremony, if you'd like to walk around and see the markers and the bench, you're welcome to do that. Again, we do this in honor of those who have served and those families and those individuals that paid sacrifice for our freedom. Our first recognition or inductee is Milton Carson. Mr. Carson, are you here? Mr. Carson will receive his discharge today from Chelsea. A little bit about Mr. Carson. Mr. Carson served in the Navy. He was an E-4 boatswain mate. Mr. Carson received recognition, the Vietnam Service Medal, the Vietnam Campaign Medal, the Republic of Vietnam Cross with Palm, and National Defense Service Medal. He served in Vietnam from 1966 to 1968. He served on the USS Enterprise, making supply runs in various port docks in Vietnam, served as commander of VFW Post 9877 in Amherst County for 33 years. As a member of Madison Heights American Legion for 56 years, and an ongoing member of the Disabled Veterans of America. Mr. Carton, we thank you for your service, sir. Mr. Wallace Ligon. Mr. Ligon will receive his discard from Adam. A little bit about Mr. Ligon. He's born in Lynchburg in September 18th, 1946, grew up in Madison Heights, attended Central High School in Amherst County, which is this school, and we're very proud of that. He graduated in 1964. After hearing about President Kennedy's Manpower Development Act, he decided to train in a trade and became a welder. He was employed in Culpeper, Virginia, where he made garbage truck beds for several years. After being drafted into the Army on December the 26th, he attended basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and upon completion, he went to jump school for the airborne training at Fort Benning, Georgia. After completion, was sent to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and served in the 82nd Airborne. Thank you for your service, sir. We'd also like to recognize Mr. Ronald Tomlin. Luke has the privilege of giving Mr. Tomlin his discard. A little bit about Mr. Tomlin. Mr. Tomlin was born in Lynchburg on March of 1951, attended Madison Heights Elementary School for 4 years prior to moving to Sprout Springs and attending Appomattox High School. Following graduation in 1970, he attended Bluefield College in Bluefield, Virginia for a year and a half. With the draft to military service looming large, he decided to enlist in the Navy I'm sorry, I cannot see the word, forgive me. The memorable experience was the bombing of the embassy and barracks in Beirut, and that occurred just after his departure. Over the ensuing years, he rose rapidly and enlisted ranks to that of Chief Petty Officer as a religious program specialist. While remaining in the reserves, he attended Liberty Baptist College, and Liberty Baptist Seminary, graduating in 1986. In October 1987, he was commissioned as Lieutenant Junior Grade in the Navy Chaplain Corps Reserves. As a reserve chaplain, he was called upon to fill many active duty stations for short periods of time. In June 1992, he was recalled to extend active duty and ordered to 2nd Marine Division in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, serving 4 different battalions of Marines. The most memorable event here was sailing to Somalia just prior and after the deaths of several Marines to lead the United Nations to involvement. After 45 months in the Marines, he received orders to the USS California CGN 36 as the ship's captain for 2 years, returning to the reserves. Commander Tomlin continued serving in many places for short periods that did not have a full-time campaign. In 2005, he again received orders to extend active duty on the USS John F. Kennedy as the last command chaplain for this ship. Mr. Tomlin, thank you for your service, sir. We are honored to I'd like to say thank you so much for being here today. Again, I would like to give all of our veterans and their families a nice round of applause. Last week, someone asked me, why is it that Amherst puts this on and puts so much time and effort into it every year? And I can tell you, it's so that our students can be around great people such as yourself. Here at Amherst Middle School, we work on the values of respect, responsibility, and resiliency. And we feel that saying those things and communicating those things are very important. But for our students, the true experience of that is seeing people such as yourself here at our schools. So thank you for being here. And we just want to say you're welcome anytime to come in and be a part of our program. We have amazing teachers, we have amazing faculty and staff here at Amherst Middle School, and we have amazing students. And they have huge hearts and they want to do great things. So if you want to be a part of that and helping us develop them, you're welcome anytime. So again, thank you for being here today. I do want to offer thanks. The selections that we discussed earlier today, we actually have a Veterans Garden Committee. And if you're here, I'd like for you to stand if I call your name. Miss Helen Floyd, she is an Amherst Middle School employee and Air Force veteran. Mr. Tommy Martin, he is a graduate of Amherst County High School and a Marine veteran. Ms. Tyler Parr, she's a graduate of Amherst County High School and Amherst Middle School employee. Mr. Greg Dane is a 1969 graduate of Central High School and an Air Force veteran. Dr. William Wells, graduate of Amherst County High School, Amherst County Public School Superintendent and Army veteran. Mr. Jim Purdy, Veterans of Foreign Wars member and Army Air Force veteran. Mr. Matt Giles, Assistant Principal at Amherst Middle School, and myself. So that makes up our committee, and if you ever have any questions about why we do this or what selections were made, you can get in touch with me and we talk about that committee in regards to those questions. So let's give those individuals a round. I'm sorry. We are getting ready to do what we call our Walk of Honor, and we ask all our veterans and family to participate, and their families to participate in that. What takes place there is we have a little surprise for you. We want to show you how much we appreciate you and all that you've done for our country and our community. We're going to have you go to the library for light refreshments. Also this year, we've been able to add Mr. William Plell, who is also a veteran. He has agreed to play bagpipes today while we unveil the markers of those individuals who were inducted into the Veterans Garden from last year, and also the new marker that we're putting in place for Mr. Johnson. So what we'll do is we'll go down to the cafeteria for a few minutes, have some light refreshments, and then I'd like for everyone, I'll make an announcement for us all to go outside. And again, Mr. Clell will be playing bagpipes as we unveil those garden markers. So if you don't mind, at this time, Ms. Topp, Ms. Audrey Topp is going to lead our parade for our veterans, our walk of honor. She is a veteran from the U.S. Coast Guard. She received a rank of E5, and she served for 8 years in that branch of service. So each year we also have someone that comes in that leads our parade. So Ms. Topp, if everybody would just, if you don't mind, please exit out the doors. Ms. Topp will lead you on our walk of fame. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your service. It's so nice having you here today.